Thursday. It's Mark Pyers. And it's real.
I was walking down the road today, looking for another way
to ease my mind
and help my living.
It's Real Talk. It's the daily vlog, Mark Pyers Real Talk. I'm here to help you make smarter moves, to amplify your current state, and I'm here with you on Thursday, day 325 in a row of the Mark Pyers Real Talk Show. And before we get going, make sure you subscribe, ding that bell. Remember, we're live on YouTube right now. And if you haven't followed me on YouTube yet, this is your opportunity. Today, I'm going to chat with you about a few things. First and foremost, I have a real estate topic for you. When it comes to inspections, I'm not sure if consumers, if buyers specifically know what they should be asking for after an inspection. And I find that most times buyers will ask for things they shouldn't be asking for. And I just wanted to clear a few things up, clear the air. Health and safety, that's it. Health and safety is essentially all you should be asking for. This is, septic is a problem. There's an oil leak, if you have some sort of leak in the house, specific water damage, could be mold. These are health and safety issues. You're not going to put your family into a house where there's some sort of health issue. So the thing you have to stay away from is, those windows need to be replaced. And I think we should go back and ask the sellers to replace those windows. Now, I think you have to remember, in general, anything you can see on a first pass, on a second pass when you're just walking around, that definitely can't be brought up. You can't go through when you've seen the driveways in the condition it's in and the front walk. Oh, well, I need you to do the driveway. After inspection, the inspector brought up that the driveway's in bad shape. That's something you could see with your own eyes. You don't need an inspection. What you're looking for is potential items that you cannot see with the naked eye. Something that an inspector, a trained inspector, is going to spend 3 to 4 hours. He's going to go through that entire property and find anything that's a concern for you. Those are items that you may have to take a second look at. But again, there's a clarification that my inspector uses, or one of the inspectors I use. He has it broken down like minor, medium, major items for repair. I love what he has for the minor repair items. Items that you would walk past if you lived in the house and wouldn't fix. That's the way he calls the minor items. Items you would walk by if you were living in the house and wouldn't fix. But consistently, I'll see buyers asking for these items. Well, where there were 3 switch plates that had cracks in them. I'd like the seller to fix those. You just have to be careful. It's not an opportunity to renegotiate. I find people do that. Matt Zabrowski's about to scream. Woo-hoo! Love that. Every single time. When I hear that come out, I just got to hear it. I got to hear it. When I hear energy like that coming out at the completion of that performance, it's amazing. I kind of remind you guys, I didn't know him. I hired him for that session. So every time I hear him scream like that, it reminds me of how much fun he had recording that track and why it feels like this. You just feel the pop in his drum kit. Just getting into it. I love it. So anyway, you just have to be careful, guys. It's not an opportunity for you to renegotiate. You're not going back after the inspection's over to say, okay, well, now I want you to knock off an extra $15,000 because I found these 15 items. And, just be very careful. I've seen many deals fall through because people are trying to get crafty after an inspection. What you're better off doing is finding a realtor who's knowledgeable. Have them walk through with you and determine what is a problem before you put in your offer. Then there are no concerns. There's no question. You know what you're willing to do. Then anything that you couldn't see, septic, some sort of oil leak that was, hidden, These items are now health and safety issues only. You've considered all the other variables. You've looked at the windows. You've seen the roof. You know, something that I bring to the table with my 12, 13 years of construction experience before I got into real estate is just being able to diagnose how old things are. You know, I could look at a roof and just gauge how, you know, it's between 8 and 10 years old, or it's 15 to 18 years old. And there's something about the wear. You could just see it. I guess when you've been doing it long enough, you just have a good feel for that. And if you have a realtor who's seasoned and they've been doing it for a while, they may be able to give you the same, insight. If not, find a contractor you trust, somebody who can walk a property with you and help you get some of these questions answered before you spend $800 to $1,200 in an inspection. I don't think people realize it's not like it's a $300 inspection. It's expensive. Inspections are very expensive. So you want to make sure you want to follow through, or at least you're serious about a property before you throw money at an inspection. You know, I have some clients who will instead of doing an inspection at all, they'll have a contractor come through. They'll have someone like my father come and just walk through and give them an inside scoop on what needs to be done, if anything. And I think that's definitely an avenue. The benefit of going with a licensed inspector is they're held to their inspection for, I think it's 6 or 7 years. So anything they say is, basically it's got to be, they do their job. That's why they spend 3 to 4 hours there, because they're held. I think builders get a 1-year warranty, but the warranty on an inspection, 6 or 7 years. So they're all very careful. There are different philosophies to inspection processes. And I've seen now in my 11 years how all the companies work. They all work differently. And there are a few people that will send multiple inspectors at once. There's ones that will send just one, and it's like a 4 or 5 hour process. But whoever you choose, just make sure it's somebody that you can get along with. Don't pick an alarmist. I think that's the thing that I have a real problem with. I'll be at an inspection with someone I don't know, and it's someone who, we were referred to this inspector by, and then I'm listening to this inspector who's just scaring this client, just terrifying them. Oh, well, you know what? There's the electrical panel. It's got to be upgraded. I don't know about that. Like, $2,500. Like, it's amazing to me the things that inspectors say and do, and they don't understand the gravity and the power behind their body language. Having built homes, renovated homes for 12, 13 years, the one thing I do know is everything has a solution. There is a fix for anything that's going on in a house. It just depends on how much money you have to throw at it. But it's nothing to freak out about. And I think in general, you will find that renovations, repair items in a house cost a lot less than you think. That being said, everything's gone up in price. Labor has to, because items cost more. Just to live, just to survive in this world now costs a lot more than it did 20, 30 years ago. I got to find that graph. I wonder if somebody can share that with me. The graph on, everybody was making X amount in 1985, and since then inflation's done this, but people are still making the same as they were in like 1985. If somebody watches and knows what graph I'm speaking of, can you send that across to the show? I'll post it on the website. And I just wanted you guys to know a couple of other things. Tonight, I'm going to be part of that panel. It's going to be very exciting. Let me see if I can show that to you. I'm going kind of backwards now. I was planning on doing that last. But let's flip this around so you guys can see. So, this evening, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., it's called Startups by Grownups. And this is going to be a founders panel to discuss the transition of basically taking a regular job and deciding to go for something. Deciding to say, you know what, I can do more than what I'm doing. I could still do what I'm doing, but I could do more. I believe there are possibilities within us that we just don't understand how to tap into. And there are talents that we have that we just need to explore in order to understand a little better. And sometimes you find a piece of it, and then after some exploration, you really dive into that person that you're meant to be. And I only can look at who I've been in the first 41 years of my life and that evolution process. I just feel like everything that I've figured out about myself was just the tip of the iceberg each time. Tip of the iceberg. And I think we're all going to find that with life, that's where we are. Now, I'm going to see it right now. It looks like we are live on Facebook. I'm going to just head over to YouTube, make sure we're going over there. Actually, I think I had me open. Yeah, we do over here. Look at this, guys. This is what I love. I love having the screen here for us to get into. And as you guys know, this is now the Go Show. And you just happen to be pulled in here on Facebook, sorry. Yeah, we're live. No, that's not right. See, this is what it shouldn't say. See, why does it say hearing your calling? That was yesterday. Well, listen, if you're on YouTube right now, this is not a replay. This is not hearing your calling. This is health and safety only, please. Because I just find people kill deals. I'm going to renegotiate after that deal. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that, guys. You cannot. When you try to renegotiate, you wind up, hold on, I'm going to shut off my stuff. When you try to renegotiate, you kill deals. Because what you're doing is destroying the trust that you've created in that first conversation. That offer is a conversation. You put it out there, they come back to you, you get a deal together. There's a bit of trust that's been built right then. And if you decide to walk away from that and destroy it just by wanting to get a couple of $100 here, a couple $100 there, I think that's a very poor way of going about getting a house. And you'll find more often than not, a seller will tell you to go walk. I don't agree with that either. I think you should be very careful about saying go and walk to somebody who has a potential to buy your property, especially in the market that we're in. There's just not a lot of deals. And this is where we get back to. Buyers now feel like, well, because it's a soft market, I can do whatever I want. I can ask for whatever I want. And you can. And I've seen some people get it. But remember, at the end of the day, is that the way you should be living life? Deceiving people, saying, look, I want this, and then no, I was just saying that to get you to the table, and then I'm going to hit you with a knife afterwards with all these little inspection items. I have a lot of clients now that say, look, I want to sell my house as is. I don't want to hear anything after an inspection. And I think that's a tough thing to do. I mean, you could say it, but still, what are you going to do afterwards? If there's a health and safety issue, it's coming up. I don't care what you say. If you have a bad septic, you can't sell your house to anybody until you fix that septic. So as is only a term. If you do an inspection on an as-is house and there is a fault, a bad septic, for example, that is going to be remedied by the seller, not by the buyer. Just because it's as-is doesn't mean you take on a septic. Like, they have to fix that for whoever buys that house. You can't sell a house with a bad septic. So you have to keep that in mind, guys. Keep that in mind. All right, so let's see. I'm going to bring us over. Let's do a little bit of news right now. And we're going to take this to, there we go, some breaking news. I love this. So check out over here on the side. Where is it? Right over here. No, I didn't get it. I forgot to put this in over here. Hold on a second, guys. Let me get back to the right screen. This is the problem. When you get all the cool graphics going, you spend a little bit of time working on that, not really doing the real talk show. That's what happens when you're doing everything on your own. Eventually we'll have somebody sitting over here who's just kind of locking in. Oh, it's breaking news. Let's put that on for Mark in the corner over there. But for now, I'm fine with doing it all on my own. I like this, guys. I'm having a lot of fun here. So let's see. Let's get into a few things. I got some topics for you. And we're going to get into some sports, and then we'll flip over to, let's see, that's my page. But we're going to flip over to some other things. But this is interesting. I just wanted to talk to you guys about this. The Astros apparently were stealing signs. Now, this is just interesting to me. This reminds me very much of what happened with the Patriots with Deflategate. And, you know, you could only get away with stuff for so long. Apparently, they've been doing this for years and getting away with it. Now, I hope if they really were doing something like this, I don't know how you punish a team after they won the World Series. Like, what do you do? Like, same thing with the Patriots. I didn't understand how you really. But this one, I think they were banging on trash cans in order to provide the signals and the signs to their players. Oh, it's a curveball or whatever it is. And they were able to obviously successfully navigate and win the World Series. But this just goes to, I mean, the world we live in now, there's so much tech, and they went old school, right? They went old school. They're like, hey, let's do smoke signals. Let's get some smoke signals going, and let's see how that goes. Come on, my laughter track's not working. I love having a laugh track, guys. I never really use it. But, so on the Boomer and Geo show, they were talking about how the MLB still hasn't punished the Astros. And yeah, I'm getting a notification here that I'm live on YouTube for Hearing Your Calling. We did Hearing Your Calling yesterday. Now it makes sense. Let me see. I wonder if I update this in real time, what happens. He's saying it's updating failed for one channel. So I bet you that's YouTube. So YouTube is saying it's a day old. I'm going to have to go in there after the fact and change the title. But the MLB still hasn't punished the Astros. I don't even know how they punished the Astros. I mean, this is the first time people have been watching baseball for a long time. You know, the change, remember when everyone was hitting like 9,000 home runs and then they're all on roids? That was like an exciting time for baseball. I know everybody was like, oh, well, that just destroyed the game and tainted. Well, let's put asterisks. I'm like, well, you can put asterisks all you want, but it was exciting to see 73 home runs. And not that we should see 73 home runs a year. But this past season, for example, is one of the highest home run seasons in history. Now, either everybody's drinking the same formula or they've decided to just look away. And my feeling is they probably just decided to look away. The game is more interesting. They're making more money than they've ever made. And then they're allowing stuff like this to happen. So will they punish the Astros? I guess we're just going to have to find out if that actually happens. Let's see. We're going to move on. Now, this is just a pretty cool side story. Carmelo Anthony, what's his real problem? He isn't LeBron James. Well, what the heck? There's only one. There's one Michael Jordan. There's one LeBron James. I can't stand when people criticize. This guy went on to talk about how he's kind of like the Dominique Wilkins and, LeBron James is the Michael Jordan of this time. And, I don't have any specific feelings about either player. I don't really watch basketball anymore. To be honest, I was a Michael Jordan fan. I still think he's the greatest ever. I don't care what anybody says. That dude was like Barry Sanders on a court. He was like Barry Sanders. Nobody moves like that. Like LeBron James is like a freight train. And that dude's great. But the elegance of Michael Jordan, it was like watching Barry Sanders run. Does anybody agree with me on this? I just want to hear from people and see if you guys agree with me. Hold on, I'm trying to see if I can see my live chat here because it's not allowing me to get into my chat. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see if I can get even to see this. But I'm curious if anybody else agrees with me. There's only one Michael Jordan, and that dude, oh man, I used to watch every game. My brother was the biggest fan, and we used to watch as many games as we could. And the way he moved, the way he shot the ball, he just hang in the air. And he would just like, oh. Now, look, there have been a lot of great players since. And apparently before him, you had Julius Erving. You had players that were amazing before Michael Jordan as well. So I think Michael Jordan was the one who said it best. You can't say anyone's the greatest of all time because they all played in different eras. I thought that was brilliantly put. He should be thinking, yeah, I'm the greatest ever because that dude was. But he's thinking correctly. He can't say if he was better than Dr. J. He doesn't know. He didn't play against Dr. J. He didn't play against Pistol Pete. He didn't play against any of these guys. He played against Dominique Wilkins. He played against Spud Webb and all these guys. You know what I mean? But you cannot say, how do you compare him with LeBron James? You just can't. They're two different players. They play two different positions. So in general, I would say can't compare people. Now, I do want to say something here about this. This is kind of a cool thing. I met Carmelo Anthony once, and it's kind of a funny story. A colleague of mine at my old firm was friends with him, worked with him when he was at his old corporate job, and he knew him. So one day I'm there at the office, and this was maybe a couple of years after I came out with the drone. And so I remember I meet this guy, totally laid back, dressed down, all right? And so I think he called him something like car or something like that, or he called him something like low or something like that. I don't know what it was. And so I'm looking at him, shake his hand, sweetest guy, super nice guy. And he starts talking to me about my drone. Oh, so I hear you fly a drone. I'm like, yeah, I fly my drone. He's like, that's so cool. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting one. I'm like, oh, you should. They're great. They're so much fun to fly. And the whole time he's chuckling because he's like, Mark has no idea he's talking to Carmelo Anthony right now. So, and after he walked out of my firm, he's walking down the street and he comes back in. He goes, do you know who that was? I'm like, oh, your client? He goes, it's Carmelo Anthony. I was like, no, it wasn't. He goes, yeah, it was. I had to go online and look at a photo of him to just confirm because I was like, no, it wasn't. Because he was so laid back, such a nice guy. He wasn't like, oh, I'm Carmelo Anthony. He was just a nice, normal person. It makes me realize how everybody out there is just trying to get along. They're just trying to get through life. They don't want to be considered special. He just wanted to go through his day, say hello to someone and talk about drones and not say, hey, I'm Carmelo Anthony. What do you think? You know, I thought that was pretty cool. So I met him. It was just for a moment. And it was pretty cool because he was a genuinely down-to-earth guy. Nice conversation. That's all I could say. I'm kind of interested to hear how he does here. So he retired last season, I think. You guys confirm with me if it was last season or the year before, because like I said, I don't really watch. I do have his rookie card, though. I know. I remember I for some reason, have Carmelo Anthony's rookie card. Anyway, so he came back. And what was funny is about a week ago, I saw him sitting side court at LeBron James game. And he took a ball. He was like pretending to shoot. And the whole crowd was like, yeah. And now he's back. I wonder if that all happened in the last week. I don't know. And this guy's giving him a hard time because he scored 10 points in half the game. Like, okay, if he played the full game, he would have scored 20, which is not bad for first time in playing in a year. Yeah, it's been a year, 376 days, they said. Anyway, so he's back. I think that's just a cool thing. And we're going to move on to this story. I want you guys to just check this out real quick. Let's see where we are. So Nike's value is up to $26.2 billion since Colin Kaepernick's endorsement. Now, it's close to unveiling his shoe. Now, I just think this is pretty cool because everybody on this planet, let me get back to you here. Everybody on this planet is so concerned with image. They're so concerned with if somebody does something wrong, just completely, let's just put them in their own room. They're abandoned from this. They're not allowed to be a part of society any longer. They did something wrong. And so Nike, when they decided to sign an endorsement deal with Colin Kaepernick, and this is something, again, I didn't fully understand this till I was reading this here, but it said, it was first reported that when they made this deal that Nike was going to plummet. Let's see what they said this here. Where was that piece? So I can't find where it said, but they were expecting Nike to do horribly by making this deal. And instead, they've gone up in value by $26.2 billion because of Colin Kaepernick's endorsement. So this is my philosophy. I don't care if the guy is not the player he was a few years ago. If he's bringing the value of Nike up $26.2 billion and you are a football organization and you're trying to somehow raise more money or somehow be more valuable or interesting, wouldn't you bring this guy on? Even if he sat on the bench, even if he took a knee every single game, but he's there on the team, Nike's up $26.2 billion. Like, I'm speaking to every owner of a football organization right now. He just had a tryout this week. They said he didn't look that great. Who cares? This is the same thing as, who was that guy that a few years ago, Tim Tebow? Just like Tebow. It is the story of the time. Here we go. Nike's value is up $26.2 billion. I'm just thinking, get the guy on the team. You know what? The Giants should have him on the team. Maybe you get just as a backup. We got this new guy. Now, apparently Eli Manning just retired. I haven't seen that story yet, but my son just said he heard Eli Manning retired. Is that accurate? Does anybody know? I wish I pulled that story up now that I'm saying it. All right, so we're gonna fast forward to the next story here, okay? Let's get into it. Here we go. So, The Force Awakens. Now, I'm just bringing this up because Star Wars is a month away. Now, I'm going. Of course I'm going. But my question is this. How come every single time the movie's about to come out, they give you all the information that you were hoping to find in the movie next month? Okay? The Force Awakens writer explains why Rey could force grab like Luke Skywalker. And then he tells you basically that she's a Skywalker. Right? Let's see what he says over here. I couldn't believe this. Okay. Well, the secret to Kylo is that he's massively insecure. He wants to be Darth too, but he isn't because he's very conflicted about everything that he wants. Oh my goodness. He wants to be the pure force of evil and power, but he's not purely any of that. I don't know what happens in Rise of Skywalker, but I'm sure that it will continue to play out. He says it right before. That lightsaber, it belongs to me. So when it flies by him and into her hand, everything he worries about is confirmed. That just told us that she's the Skywalker. It's unbelievable. So listen, I just would like to have gone to that movie in a month and sort of been surprised when I find that out. Anyway, this was pretty funny here. And I just wanted to put it on because Kevin Hart had a pretty serious accident a few months ago. And I don't know. Like I said, I don't pay attention to much in the news, but I saw this and I had to play it for you guys. I just think it's really funny. So Dwayne Johnson, who, like I said, is an awesome entrepreneur, but he's also an awesome guy. And Kevin Hart, who's very, very funny. They were doing this promo for the new Jumanji movie. They're both trying to speak to their followers at the same time. And then they're both speaking to their two Dannys in the movie, which I guess Danny DeVito and Danny, what's his name? Glover, are both sitting. You got to watch this. We're going to play just a couple seconds of it just to get a little humor into the show here for you real quick. Check this out. Let's see if it plays.
Oh yeah,
Here we are.
We're back to promoting.
Jumanji.
I'm excited.
It's good to see you, brother.
No,
It's
definitely.
good to have you back.
It's good to be back. Do me a favor, DJ.
Yes.
I want to say something real quick
No,
to
you
my
can
fans.
say. Well, let me say my thing first.
Well, give me
because
before
I just
you.
wanna
I know,
say-
but listen, before
No,
you
no,
go into that,
that's
give me a
enough.
second
Don't
because I
point
want
it.
to. I'm not
in my
pointing.
camera.
Just let me say.
So here's the thing,
When I'm
Rich.
DJ, please, as I'm back, I want to make sure.
There's my Danny DeVito.
Okay, well,
Right
then
there.
you should.
And Danny Glover.
Well, I was going to do
Okay.
that, but you're rudely cutting me off.
pissing me off.
Danny Glover is who we should be. Is who we should be. What the fuck?
Oh,
What the fuck?
Oh, okay. Now we're gonna go back out. All right. So
As I sit
maybe
there
I
and think
shouldn't
about
have.
what-
Maybe I should have watched this before.
Hey!
Tell him, stop yelling like that.
Well, you know what? Why don't you get your muscle?
Okay. Maybe I should have. I should have previewed that before letting that one out on the air. I didn't realize that he was going to throw out some F-bombs. I'm sorry about that. Because you guys know I don't do that on the show here. We don't do that. I don't promote bad language, okay? What I am promoting is positivity, and humor can breed positivity. So the first part of that was funny, but throwing out that F-bomb, not the nicest thing. Anyway, let's see. I'm curious if we have any. All right, here we go. All right. I'm going to roll on to the next story. Now, this is something that is very interesting, and it's really just a funny thing, and it's obviously fake. But let's see. Where are we? Okay. So, where are we? Hold on. Okay. So, a 121-year-old photo sparks Greta Thunberg, I don't even know how you say her last name, conspiracy theory. She's here to save us. Okay, so I don't know if you could fully see this, but this is apparently supposed to be a photo with her in it. Ready? So we're going to scroll down so you can take a look at it. There she is. 121 years ago. Okay, so it is definitely her face. Absolutely. But we are in 2019, and she clearly was photoshopped in to that image. So I just think it's funny, like if you look at the actual image, this person's face completely blurry. This person's face 99% blurry. Her, looks like it was shot in the 1980s. You know, so they did a pretty good job of trying to make her look like, you know, she was in this actual photo. That's pretty funny though, right? I just have to laugh at that. That's what I think about the whole thing, guys. I mean, seriously? This is what's going on with the internet. This is what people are doing with their time. They're creating conspiracy theories about Greta Thunberg or whatever her name is. She's a time traveler, apparently. She was here 100 years ago. She's here again. She's here now. She's the same age, by the way. She just came here from then yesterday. She was 121 years ago yesterday. Doesn't make any sense, but this is what people are doing online, guys. Anyway, listen, let's move forward. Remember, go on, subscribe, ding that bell. I'm live every day forever here on Real Talk. This is day 325 in a row. And yes, this is saying that I'm on for hearing your calling, but I'm not. I'm on for health and safety only, please. And just remember that if you're out buying a home, the inspection process is not an opportunity for you to renegotiate the deal. It's not. It's an opportunity for you to get to the bottom of what's going on with that house, get some answers. Perhaps if there are health and safety issues, you can get a credit towards those, but you shouldn't be aiming to try to renegotiate. You should just put that deal together up front. Look, you laid out a list. These are the items I'm concerned about. This is why I'm willing to pay X. You have the issue with the roof. And those windows need to be replaced. And there's an oil leak. So this is why our price is this. And I think that's, obviously there are some things you won't know about. Oil leaks, septic, anything you can't inspect on a first walkthrough. But you need to make sure you're doing things correctly. Don't just blindly ask for things just because you're trying to squeeze a couple extra dollars out of that seller. You put together a fair deal, do that deal. I think that's it for today, guys. I will see you tomorrow on the next Real Talk. Actually, I'm not sure if I'll be broadcasting live for you at all tonight for my panel discussion. Possibly, but remember, Startups for Grownups this evening, 6:30 at Coscob Library in Greenwich, Connecticut. And we'll be there for a little bit, maybe like a half hour of networking, and then we're on for an hour, and then we're going to be networking again afterwards for about a half hour. So I hope you come by and check it out, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's put on by the Fairfield County Columbia Alumni Association. So there's going to be a lot of people that are interested in business. They may be interested in investing in business. So if you have an idea, if you're interested in potentially getting into entrepreneurship, or you have some brilliant concept that you just haven't gone after, stop over. Hear what it's about. Check out what 5 founders have gone through in order to get to today, the process. Enjoy that process. You know, everybody wants to get to the finish line. Yes, of course, I get that. You don't think I want to have 10,000 people tuning in every day and saying, I got something from this program? Of course. But you have to enjoy the process. I'm enjoying the process of self-realization, understanding the process of what I'm doing here on Real Talk. It's taken me 325 days to totally get comfortable, to be able to sit here and drop cool things into the mix. You know, you got the logo. This is all cool to me. I don't want to broadcast on Instagram anymore because I can't do this stuff on Instagram. These are my social media channels. Tune in, subscribe. I'm live with you every day forever. Don't forget that. Let's see, I'm going to put a little music here on the way out for you. See you guys tomorrow on the next Real Talk.